Thank you for joining us here on the Greenfield Village Railroad. For your safety, please remain seated at all times, keeping your arms and legs and especially your head inside the rail car. And for the safety of our younger riders, woo-hoo, we're off to a wild start. That's why we remain seated, everybody. That's why we remain seated. So we'll wave goodbye to Hans and Kaylee and get on our way. Behind that white picket fence, that's Thomas Edison's Menlo Park complex. There, thousands of patented inventions like the phonograph, the microphone, and practical incandescent light bulbs, just to name a few, were produced from this facility. Built in 1876 in New Jersey. That yellow house you're looking at on your left, that's the Sarah Jordan's boarding house. That's where the unmarried workers had the Menlo Park took their room and board. And her house was the first house wired for electric light. Yeah, now we're coming to the Fortune and Parliament District. Up ahead you see the Ackley Covered Bridge. That was built in 1832 in southwest Pennsylvania. That's the gateway to Fortune and Parliament. There we have all of our beautiful historic homes that you can check out. But tonight, what you get to check out is the beautiful cars that we have in here today. And now we're coming into the Susquehanna station. So please remain seated where you are until the train comes to a complete stop. And we're going to hear a blast of the whistle. That'll tell us when it's safe to stand up and exit on the left-hand side. Well, thank you for joining us on our last loop around. Going back to Smith Creek now. He's remaining seated. There you go. Now if you look at that red house on your left, that's the Plimpton home. Mr. and Mrs. Plimpton lived in that one little house with their 7 children. He was an indentured servant and they were living large. They thought that was just great. thousands. Back here we house our 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. And we have 9th graders as well, but they have their classrooms in here, see? Yeah, we're going around a tight corner here. And now, if you look ahead, you're going to see 3 attached Pullman rail cars. And those 3 Pullman rail cars happen to be the classroom for the senior students. So how would you like to come to school every day in a rail car? That's where the 12th graders go to school. And the body of water on your left is the Swanee Lagoon. That's a rainwater catch basin here in Greenfield Village. Helps prevent flooding. Everybody, please remain seated until we come to a complete stop. And we're going to listen for a blast of the whistle. And when we hear that whistle, we'll know it's safe to stand up and exit on the left-hand side. There